Okay, it's pretty quiet on track. We should consider getting out there now. Okay, you got 5 minutes left in this. I know the team back at the factory have put in a lot of hours getting the car ready for you this weekend, so let's repay them with a really strong performance.
Hello everybody, welcome to your comms for tonight. You might notice I am starting inside of the Red Bull. That is because I am doing my obligatory 1 lap race and we'll be getting straight back onto the commentary. Anyway, so let's just go through your starting grid here. JJ on pole behind Samuel Drake Lee, who did spin on his final attempt in the chicane, so you know, I'm pretty unlucky for him, but JJ has been out of his world this season. You know, fantastic driver all around. Everyone on mediums, think I'm going off it. Ignore me, P13. Focus on the top 12, which will probably finish with like 7 drivers knowing this league, but here we are, formation lap, and yeah. Weird POV, seeing the commentator actually race a bit, but you know, I can't even make anything like, oh, it's lights down, away we go, ooh, something like that, because I can't see lights down, away we go. I'd have to jump the start like an absolute maniac. Alright. See how far I can get. Starting order. Well, that was slightly aggressive. Let's just. Okay. As long as everyone gets past me without any issues, we shall be fine.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions look good. Sorry? No, don't do that. What good would that do? We can't do anything to the car and we have a race to get on with. Do not try to come in, just form up on the grid, okay?
Nice. Yeah, that's one way to get yourself disqualified from qualifying. I don't know what to say, honestly. I could commentate. However, I do need to get through the first lap, so yeah, we won't get the all 5 red lights and lights out and away we go, which might be a flaw of this 1 lap race system. But you know, you got 5 red lights at the front of the field, and it's lights out and away we go. And going off the starting screen, nothing's really changed. JJ is taking the lead from pole. This is really awful here. Is someone making a dive for the inside? Couldn't tell you. I think Sam is now in the lead after botching his final qualifying run, and I shall gracefully return this car to the pit lane. That would have been not very cool. I am trying to drive as little as a kleptomaniac as possible so that I don't get shouted at. But Sam is taking the lead from turn 1 and yeah, doesn't seem to want to give it away. I mean, he's gapped him by about a car dot length, although I don't know how big a dot length is, to be honest. Let's just focus on getting back into the pit lane before I do anything daft. Yeah.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
Okay, so that's the racing bit done. Now we can continue to commentating. So yeah, Simon Dregley in the lead has nearly gapped JJ by just nearly a second, as I become the first time in the session as red lags out. So I'm gonna just be very kind to him. Yeah, that's the AI doing its magic. It's fallen all the way down from starting in P7 to now down in P11. I've sent him an invite. If he wants to join, it's completely up to him. Yeah, he has. So he is now in P12. Minus 5 places off the start for a really unlucky driver this season, as JJ will have DRS. I think, yeah, he will have DRS heading onto the 2 only straights of DRS here, as he also sets the fastest lap in the process, and he fights. As he's left again. Nah, what a surprise. Must be that southern internet. As yeah, he's calm. Oh, it's 80 AI, so you know, something to be expected. As battery wise, I mean, they're both in none, so you know, trying to save as much as possible. As well, freeway 4-5 car DRS train, I guess you can really say. I mean, they call it the Monaco without rules for a reason. It's not really an entertaining race. Will we see any overtakes? Probably might be a smart idea to send an invite link out, you know, could help with getting more traction on this stream, as don't expect any overtakes for the next few seconds. However, then again, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an overtake in like the next few seconds. So far, I mean, everyone's back, so you know, it's just basically red trying to claim that 4-second deficit of his. Just get the link, share link, 5 lappers. Oh, as we might have a fight for the lead here. I mean, I've joined way too late, but JJ retakes the lead from pole position. Sam does try and go side by side with him through turn 1 and 2, however he won't be able to make it stick, so he has to settle back down to 2nd place where he originally started. As we have a spin, I think, as that is Adam spinning the Haas, currently on a season total of 5 points. You know, trying to cement himself in the top tier, doing better than some others at the current moment. Has scored points pretty regularly due to being able to finish the race, as we've seen a few pockets of gaps open up. So you've got the top 5, well, it's the top 5 drivers you would expect, each of the same team. As Adam has cut the corner, God knows, I'm assuming that was the chicane. Has he got wing damage? I think, is that wing damage? Yeah. So he's got wing damage, so he's gonna probably crawl it back to the pits. As yeah, you got two separate pockets opening up. You've got the top 6, top 5, and then 6th to 10th. As will we potentially see an overtake here on the 6th lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix? Still got 28, something like that to go, as someone has left. Unless that's me being thick. Oh, that's his foul. It was Frankie. Ooh, that was a decent move from the Aston Martin. Goes down the inside of the Haas, as the other Haas, Adam, calls it quits. And there was 13, technically 12. Now there's 11. As it won't be points for Adam this time round. As yeah. Nothing going on. Yellow flag from the dealing retirement has been cleared. So, you know. Oh, Sam! Bit of a moment exiting. Well, it's one of the corners in sector 2, I can tell you that. Loses it, and now Jaden's able to reclaim. Well, not reclaim, but claim P2 as last week's race winner. 3rd in the championship, 2nd in the race. Has a 2.5 second gap to catch to JJ, who, well, he's pulled away to say the least after making the overtake a few laps ago to capitalise off quite a poor start for his remarks. As will there be any challenge from anyone to reclaim any different positions from this perspective? I don't. Ooh, going in deep for Andreas the Haas. And you know what, bit of contact, but he tries to make it sticky. You know what, for P6, that is quite a good move. Similar to one Frankie did a lap ago. And that promotes the Haas, the only Haas, up to P6. Yeah. You know, Hungary's not really track good for racing, you know. With the state of the cars, you know, a bit of a narrow track, it's become quite hard to overtake, apart from the stereotypicals. There has been a spin, I think. Stelios, the Kick Sauber, who was running somewhere a few seconds ago, is now down into P11, so that is another driver who we've seen have an incident in Sector 2. And I'm telling you now, it will not be the last. As that's Sam into the pit lane. Is this how quickly the mediums have died, or is it something else here? As Frankie's also in. No, I genuinely think this is how bad the mediums are, because no one pits this early if it's not for like a tyre issue. Stelios gets a 10-second penalty, and he calls it quits. So then there were 10. So Frankie and Sam have both bolted the white wall hard compound tyre on to, I'm assuming it's going to be a 2-stop this race, I am not entirely sure, as Stelios has left the session, as that's a bit of a track extension for the Haas of Andreas. Where is my music? So once again, I mean, JJ showing absolutely eccentric pace so far this season, has the current title favourite on the 11th Grand Prix of the season. Can he stir up a win to potentially push further towards his 3rd straight title here in EXFL? So far, he's been doing pretty consistent lap times. You know, a very good foregoing for him, as Andreas now finds the pit lane, so that's another driver going for the early pit stop. So I'm assuming the 2-stop is the play here, as I don't imagine a world where, oh, I'm going to interrupt this because Voizo and Red Fire Tiger are fighting here. 2 PC players, 1 Mercedes, 1 Ferrari, the Story 2026, and Red overtakes the Ferrari for P5 here. Voizo, who was driving an incredible race, has quite a bad luck so far this season. The two probably unluckiest drivers this season fighting out for P5, and it's the one in the Mercedes is Voizo. Talk about commentator's curse. He spins on the exit, and will that allow the Ferrari, his teammate, to overtake him? Or will he have to... well, he just lets his teammate by, so this may be curtains for the Austrian, who has a bit of a reputation, a good one, amongst the league. Not sure if he's a champion, I don't know, but there's a 3 second, so we could see the 4th retirement of this session, only 10 laps in. Perfect timing there, as you've got a bit of a train here for a second. You've got Jaden, Chris and Danny, McLaren, RB, Red Bull. And that's about really it for all the chains. Everyone else is quite spread apart. Voizo goes quite deep as he does speed into the pit lane. And that is retirement number 4. Then there was 9. Ironically, all 9 from different teams. Unless that's me being stupid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 9 drivers, 9 teams. The only team we're missing in the top 10 is the Sauber, which the only representative so far is Stelios. As well, JJ's just pulling further and further away. This man is on fire this season. So far, his championship lead, with 10 races done so far in the season, is 66 points. Had to make sure my maths was correct there. You know, that is insane, as Jaden just come into the pits. Yeah, probably one of the longer lasting medium tyres of this session. Will he come out relative to someone like Simon Drakely, who was ahead of him before the pit stop phase? Where will that put the Ferrari ahead of the McLaren? He's already made his pit stop. Will he be able to fly very much past? So now it'll be the tail. Can Samuel Drakely use that already charged up rubber to potentially not tell me what that notification was, but reel in the leader JJ to potentially seal a win around the Hungarian ring here? So far the leader of pit stops, he is behind Logan, who so far this season in both Italian races has scored podiums. He has been dubbed the king of P7, currently fighting for P6. Will the Alpine be able to defend the Ferrari, or will it be over before it even started, as Sam breezes past Logan? Yeah, shouldn't have been in the contest, as Chris boxes very early on the brakes, making sure he doesn't get that 10-second penalty around a race where a 2-stop is so probably the favourable strategy. As Logan's now in the pits, as well, there's not really many battles, so I don't know what to do. I mean, battery, let's just look. I mean, Andreas trying to burn something that doesn't exist. Logan's got a pretty full one, but he has just box, so I don't think it really matters. JJ's, everyone's like, no one. Okay, well, he's got. The thing is with like tier 1, they all burn their battery a lot. Like, yeah, as the rare time where you spot a driver with actual full battery, because a lot of the time it's normally around the 15% mark. As JJ's now in, so the race leader making his pit stop after 14 laps. Do I read that right? Or am I 12 laps? Christ, 2 laps off. But he does have 2 warnings. You know, one more slip up, and that could be a crucial decision for the race, as Danny does take the lead. As Simon Drakely has jumped JJ in the pit stops. However, he has made his pit stop as Andreas in the pit lane becomes retirement number 5. Yeah, Sam's tyres are 5 laps older, so will that 5-lap difference make all the difference here in Hungary? As I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so 2 people yet to pit. That is the top 2 of Danny and Red. Danny, second in the championship, is the one who trails 66 points to the man in P4 here. However, with the electric form of the Williams, I do not think that gap will be getting any smaller anytime soon. As well, it's the thing. There's a small little groups, but not really fighting. As Danny stays out another lap, I'd love to know the state of those tyres. As in that lap, that's count. So JJ's first flying lap. How much time can he cut out of Samuel Drakely's net lead here? As there's nothing interesting to do. Everyone's separated by like a separate margin. I genuinely don't know what to talk. As oh well, that's something. Chris has passed Frankie. Of course, the one move that happens I miss, but you know it's fine. As Jaden getting quite close to Jaden getting close to JJ. There we go. Get your words out. As 2 lap older tyres, so the tyres are actually rubbered in by now. As yeah, will he be able to capitalise on the tyre temperature, to be fair, to potentially overtake here, take net P2, or will the story be the same yet again? As will any of the top 2 be boxing? Yeah, so Danny is in. I don't know about Red. Red was one of the only drivers who did start on the hard compound tyre, so he's got a second behind to Sam, which I think it will be the gap like that for like 1 to 2 laps. Sam will reel him in ever so quickly. He's got the tyre advantages. Chris sets the fastest lap of the race. As I'd love to see an overtake, you know. I think we just scope in on this because this is probably the closest thing we're going to get to a fight. You've got the Williams, you got the McLaren, and you got the Racing Bull. Here is the fight for net P2 as Simon Drakely is closed up on the Mercedes of Red, who was last at one point and like 5 seconds behind due to issues with connection. So will this be a job easy done by the Ferrari, or will the Mercedes give the 4-time, I don't know, so, well, God knows what's going to happen. Let's just have a look. 60% battery to 70, so it's going to be a drag race here with DRS. Sam pulls to the inside, and, well, you should have seen that coming. Sam retakes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix as, well, the tyre difference wasn't going to make anything any different there. Red now is in second, and now JJ will be closing in on him pronto. As soon enough we'll be passing near the halfway mark. Like, what am I meant to do here? Like, realistically, I can only do with what I'm given, and right now I'm being given nothing. But can Chris cause some entertainment here? I mean, JJ takes the fastest lap. Will he be able to line up a move here into turn 1? The McLaren goes deep, and the Racing Bull side by side. They are side by side, but Jaden does go deep to try and defend. Tries to switch back here, Chris. Will he get the switchback, Chris? Chris does get the switchback, and Chris is up into 4th place to chase JJ down for P3. As well, here's something interesting finally. A freeway fight for the lead involving the guy who took the lead into the first corner, the guy who took the lead after being last, and the pole sitter. So this could be an interesting one, as 16-lap-old hards will try and defend against the second freshest set currently on the grid, as it's 92% battery versus 70 and burning. All this allows Sam to pull away and potentially open up a gap for that second pit stop, which may or may not happen at this rate. I think this will be a dead set overtake, 100% battery. I do not see a world where JJ is behind into turn 1. Although that was a bit of a strange manoeuvre, as, well, he's done it before. He's nearly done it before the finish line detector thing. As, oh, here's Chris. They were 2 by 2, as Chris does try and go around the outside of the champion. As in a span of a lap, Red, well, not even a lap, a few corners, Red goes from 2nd to 5th. As now we've got we'll have a freeway fight for P2 here, as Chris and JJ side by side once again through the complex of turn 2, 3, 4. Somewhere in sector 1, God knows, I don't count the corners. There's a bit of a correction there from the Racing Bulls driver. So now it's the wild goose chase here. Samuel Drake Lee, 10 lap old tyres, 5 lap older than JJ here. We've got 18 lap, 17 laps to go when they cross the finish line here. And as it stands, I do not know where anyone is going to finish. Although we might have an idea of where one might finish. Let's not focus on that. Anyway, let's try and get a decent fight scoped in. Anything interesting? Danny on Frankie. The Aston Martin and the Red Bull side by side, and well, smooth as butter really. The tyre advantage helping the Red Bull into P6, trying to chase down a 14-lap deficit to the Mercedes up ahead. It's the tale of 2020 here, but for P5 and P6. As we've got a little top 4 pocket again here. We might see some fighting here for once. Here we are. We might have a fight for the lead here. Oh, as Sam gets all out of shape from the final corner, and now the Williams will have no problems with the drag race down into turn 1 as JJ reclaims the lead that he lost under pit stops. As out of shape again for the Ferrari as Chris throws out the attacking shape. He tries to go around the outside. He finds a gap that really shouldn't have been there, and Chris takes P2 here. And now the race leader, who was the race leader barely 30 seconds ago, is now down in 3rd place. And, you know, the tyre situation isn't really benefiting him here right now. As, well, can we spare a 4 for our good friend Logan here? As, yeah, we'll spare a 4 in a minute. As Sam, 3-second penalty. Might be costly here. At this rate, it will probably cost him a podium. As let's bring back our force of praise to Logan, who is most likely going to finish P8, 30 seconds behind the rest of the pack. P8 to P8, 4 extra points in it. As the field is really separated again. As Sam's in again. He throws the cannon first again. Will this be another set of hards, or has he gone for a medium tyre as Red is in as well? But this will be his one and only pit stop of the race. As Sam, what tyre is it? It is another set of hards for the Ferrari. As Red can really only go on them. He's gone on another set of hards. Red's just absolutely bottled his strategy here, because he's just gone on a second set of hards. And by regulation, you need to have at least one racing lap on 2 separate sets of tyres. That is different categories. So he has to go on an extra set of mediums. So this will be a 2-stop here as Frankie crosses the pit lane line too early. Bit too eager to go out racing, I guess, and gets himself a 10-second penalty, which might actually see Logan not finish P8 and reclaim his lovely P7 position here in Budapest. One thing's for certain. Red, not the brightest moment there. Boxing onto another set of hards whilst you're on hards already. Probably not the smartest thing when you're trying to fight for a podium, as Chris is in. Very early. You can hear those hard tyres squealing. There's only 10 laps, so he's done less laps on the hards than he did on the mediums. So now he will go on to another set of hards. But this time it does make sense, as that is his second set of hards, starting on the medium tyre. As yeah, I think a 2-stop was probably the smarter choice around here, considering the fact why am I getting these? Oh, it's Twitch notifications. As oh, Frankie, 3-second penalty. Shouldn't really affect much. As any other pit stops. Sam's caught up to Chris, even though he's got the rubbered in tyres. Will this be able to be an overtake here for once again the net race lead here? After all pit stops are said and done, he's gaining on him. RB versus Ferrari. The Ferrari goes around the outside. Very close to contact there, as Sam just trying to stick it around the outside. It's still side by side. This is very red. Down into turn 3. Chris tries to defend around the outside. He gets a bit argy-bargy. However, Chris is able to defend the place for now. As that was some good fighting between the Racing Bull and the Ferrari. And now we're back to being bored. Chris, fastest in Sector 2. Going for the fastest lap here, probably not intentionally, but he's probably doing something to pass the time. Oh. La 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 la. There's nothing going on. Yeah, do you know, let's listen to this. Let's not have a sing-song. Let's just have songs. As Jaden's in the pits. Very early braking again. So I presume this is going to be the medium tyre. Yep. So it's the yellow tyre for Jaden. As Danny takes second, as Chris, oh well, he had the fastest lap momentarily, and then Sam stole it. So, you know, clearly there's hard tyres going to good effect here. As Red is back past. So currently, it's 7 hard tyres, 1 medium. Can said 1 medium make all the difference here? We'll find out in roughly 10 laps time. I think we'll have interviews, you know. I deserve to have an interview after. Oh, spin! Frankie! Spun! On the exit of... and corner. And with the 10-second penalty, he's now got 10 seconds to the car ahead. I don't think there's any damage on the Aston Martin. He does go wide. Loses the car again nearly. And it might be curtains for last week's star, really. He took mediums longer than anyone could have expected to happen at a Silverstone track that drains tyres, really. Held on to finish P2 in the end after leading a decent chunk of the second half. As we might see a first lapped car of the evening, as Logan, who I don't think is currently at his setup, will be getting lapped by the race leader. And, you know, you can't blame him. He wasn't going to finish anywhere above P8 anyway. So, you know, valiant effort for the Alpine here, who, you know, he's had a few good results across the season, you know, and so an off day is expected from the Alpine. As well, once again, we're back to not really any action. As could we potentially see the top 2 try? I don't think it's possible, but could they potentially push to the very end on their tyre sets? I don't think they will, because I actually don't, because the tyre delta will go out the window. But you know, I don't see those tyres puncturing anywhere before next few laps. As that was an overtake and I missed it, as always. Jaden using those medium tyres to good use and getting up to P5, which if he can close the gap a bit, can be P4 here, which, you know, would be one below his qualifying position. But, you know, by the way this race has gone, no one would have expected anyone to be anywhere at this rate, maybe apart from JJ and P1, but, you know, that's besides the point. As another fastest lap for Jaden there, as he has pulled 1.5 seconds on the Mercedes here. Not the best luck once again for Red. 2 disconnects. He did lead the race briefly, however, yeah, he's going to settle for P6 here. As we're getting quite close here to JJ lapping the first driver, which, you know, he might time it to try and get DRS to slightly pull away, or he might try and get it over and done with as quickly as possible. Which at this rate I think it might actually be a cause of getting DRS here, although no, it's too far. You never know actually. No, it's probably too far. Yeah. Oh well, so Logan becomes the first lapped car of the race, which, you know, is a surprise considering that would normally go to me. Fight! We might have a fight here for once, as it's really just battery draining on battery draining, so, you know, not really a fight. As 6 laps to go. I'm not saying the other one again. Yeah, 6 laps. So here we are. So can the top 2, or JJ really, because I think Chris is gaining on the lightning pace here. Can JJ keep those tyres in shape for at least 6 more laps to potentially try and win here in Hungary? Which for now I think he's going to have DRS. Yeah, so there's the lapped car of Logan. He's been waved the blue flag, which indicates probably less, I'm not sure, I think it's like 2 seconds. So right now we might see a fight here, although it's probably a very minuscule chance for P2 here between the 2 energy drink teams. We've got Danny in the senior team, Chris in the junior team. That has no effect on the teams whatsoever here. But Chris, lightning pace, burning battery to nothing. He sends it to the outside. Will he be able? Danny does try and lock up to defend. He goes around the outside, and Chris reclaims P2 for a 3rd time today with another around the outside move off turn 1. As Danny feels the 4-lap difference in the tyres as he falls down to P3, currently exposing the championship goal, the championship lead to, well, it was 65, it was 66. Now it's going to be 76 as it stands. As yeah, Chris has already pulled away a second, which, to be fair, the tyre difference, it's not really a surprise. But can he, by any shot of a miracle here, gain 7 seconds with the 9-lap tyre advantage on JJ here? Will JJ try and conserve these tyres? The whisperer of all whisperers here in Hungary to potentially win and extend his championship gap, or will Chris be able to surprise everyone and claim, I think, his first win of his EXFL career, joining like around the start of the season? So, you know, ooh, we might have a fight here brewing. So I'll just click onto dynamic cam whilst I have a look. No, I don't think he has, no. So this would be, Christ, it's taking a while. As I do think... Oh, we might have a fight here, so I'm just going to absolutely skip whatever I was doing. As Sam, around the outside of Danny, can he make the move stick? He's got 6 lap pressure tyres. And you know what? Just like the lap previous, or 2 laps previous, we have got a move around the outside with the Red Bull of Danny suffering as he falls down to P4. However, due to the penalty on the Ferrari, he will go back up to P3. It's a matter of keeping within that 3-second buffer. Oh, what just happened? Or was that just Logan being lapped? Oh, that was Logan being lapped. I'm being over dramatic again. I can't find any statistics, but he's closed the gap. He's halved the gap in just over a few laps. So now, with 4 laps to go, 33, 34, 35. As Logan now finds the pit lane to... Is it a retirement for the Alp? I don't think it's a retirement. No, it'd be stupid. As ooh, Jaden down the inside. So within a span of 5 laps, at least 3 times has the Red Bull been overtaken. Oh! We only got that from Jaden's perspective, but that was a harsh, powerful hit. I can't say any words from the Red Bull here, as he's trying all his best to take Jaden out. I don't know what just happened, but that will probably get investigated. As right now, we've got... Yeah, after he's got 3 and a bit laps, JJ, to conserve his tyres, conserve the 3-second lead here. He's kept the 2 warnings from the opening 10 laps this whole race. Can he keep this gap to Chris, or will Chris be able to emerge and take his first career win in EXFL here at the Hungarian Grand Prix? As I don't know what happened between Red and Dan, as Red now bombards it into the pit lane, so we might see a pit stop here for the fastest lap here from the Mercedes driver. As still don't know what to explain what Danny tried to do. It was quite Verstappen-esque from my analyses, as I can just feel JJ's front left tyre is crying out for help. You know, this track is very left heavy. You've got oh, that's a spanner. Chris 3-second. So here we are. So Chris would now have to gain 5.7 seconds in order to win this race, which, you know, might be possible, but also might not be. So it's too close, too far for the Northern Irishman, as JJ could slightly breathe a sigh of relief here. You know, he's got around 90 seconds to go before he can call himself the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, the 11th round of the season, as he begins the 35th and final lap of the Grand Prix, as Frankie has also been lapped, so that fastest lap string may be over, as Chris is gaining like a madman on the Williams here, as the gap's going down, but you know, the 3-second penalty has really harmed him here. I do not think he'll be able to well, he might be able to overtake, but I don't think he's going to be able to maintain that gap here, as I have literally no way of... As, well, you know... Well, let's put the phone down and let's focus, because for the God knows what time in Tier 1 this season, James Jones comes across the line to win in Tier 1, but this time he wins in Hungary at Budapest. Chris comes home in second. Too little, too late for the Northern Irishman. Samuel Drake-Lee, good qualifying, bit of a waste, but he does take the penalty as Jaden climbs up to P3. A risky strategy gamble pays off for the McLaren here, as Danny comes home in fifth, although he has that 10-second time penalty. Was he the one with the 10-second time penalty? I don't know. Will he be leapfrogged by Mr. Well, God knows what happened there, but Logan's down in P8. So those two have been lapped, so that's the race over. Say that I want you. Say that I need you. Okay, so let's just fuck it. View game card. Invite party. Oh, I hate it. Will they join? God knows, but well, you know, there's your classification for the race. Well, I guess there's no commentary being done, I mean, no interviews, so I guess I'll sign off on this note. I have been the commentator. This has been the EXFL Tier 1 Season 13, sponsored by OnlyFans, I don't know. Hungarian Grand Prix. I have been the commentator. Good